you get arrested if you marry somebody who isn't Jewish. I mean, that's like apartheid or something. But if you say that, you get attacked. I mean, I'm against all of that. I mean, especially if you've got some of the same liberal lobbies connected to Israel telling us here to give up all your farmland and let the government brainwash your kids, or you're a bigot. But it's okay if Israel hands out machine guns to their whole population and arrest anybody that marries someone who's Jewish. But everybody else, you better marry somebody outside your group. I mean, I get it all, okay? But I mean, this hypocrisy is everywhere. But at the same time, the fruits of the anti-Jewish groups. I mean, you sound like a nice lady. You actually made some points. I'll try to look into it. I've seen some of what you're talking about. But usually it's, all right, listen here. Listen here, Jew Jones, you're going to get it. And we know you get your orders from Tel Aviv, and we got the documents. Your whole thing's owned by the Rothmans or whatever. I mean, it's just like total insanity. Answer for it. Answer for how you work for Israel. And I'm just like, okay, I do then. I mean, it's not true, but and answer for the fact that you're a reptoid. We're going to shoot you and prove you're going to turn into one on stage. And I'm just like, these people are crazy. Or I know you work for the Vatican, and because they photoshopped my head on a Catholic priest outfit, I work for the Vatican. That's not bad if you were Catholic. I'm not getting into all these fights. This is what diseases our country. I'm for liberty and freedom and lower taxes and the family and the Second Amendment and national sovereignty. Okay? And I'm not going to get sidetracked off into all these groups. And I have never, let me see, the worst, it could be the Catholic run it all crowd or the Jew bashing crowd. They're pretty much the same in their hatred for me. And I don't know, a lot of it's operatives, we've proven that, but some of them are mainly just jealous or mentally ill or low-grade morons. And they just sit there and obsess and obsess and obsess and obsess and obsess and just make up all manner of stuff. And then after they've passed around a lie, they then say it's true. So I have a lot of trouble in these investigations and things with different groups, but particularly, I'd say the dominant group is Jews run it all, because I see so much disinformation in it that I know is not true about me. I mean, they have like clear operatives that dress up in like Santa Claus outfits and sit there and say that I'm Jewish and stuff. And it wouldn't be bad if I was, but I'm not. It's frustrating, and it's a diversion, and it's a distraction from real debate, the real world, real headway that's being made against tyranny. And just to show you how this stuff leads nowhere, they're going to throw, and they already are, anti-Semitism at Ron Paul. They're going to, even though he's not even going there, they're going to, because he won't go there. They hate it. They're going to throw racist towards black people because he doesn't go there. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at him because this stuff leads nowhere. I've read Zionist stuff out of Israel that's public where they say encourage anti-Semitism because it makes people come here, work here, and then basically that political class can then feed off those people. It's the same everywhere. China, Israel, the U.S., North Korea, Mexico. And so they love the outside threat. It's a form of false flag. And so they want to make it about all that. I'm not going to do it. I just want freedom. It's really simple. Okay? That's what I want. And if you'll notice, the Nazis, who some of which are feds, we've proven, like Hal Turner and others, they can't make heads or tails of the fact that then the ADL's attacking me all day. So they spin it and say, oh, well, that's because they're trying to give him publicity. Oh, yeah. When they, over the years, have tried to call up radio stations and get me off the air, that's to give me publicity, or try to take my sponsors away. Oh, yeah, that's really the ADL trying to help me. All right, we'll be right back.
Does being over 40 make you feel like...
In closing on the racial and religious issue, I remember back in 1996 when Bill Clinton got caught shipping missile secrets through Laura Allen Hughes to communist China so their missiles could hit the U.S. with precision. And instead of one ICBM being launched, going up into space and orbit and coming back down, firing them from northern China over the North Poles, the shortest distance, into North America, hitting Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, cities like that. When it comes back into the atmosphere, the nose cone pops off, and say 10 dummy warheads shoot out to confuse anti-missile systems, and 10 real warheads come down. Bill Clinton and our government who's always wringing its hands. Oh, my gosh, what if Iran gets a nuke? We're all dead. It's horrible. Iraq was going to have a nuke. Remember? 45 minutes from now, they could blow up England. Remember that? Then they got anthrax trucks that they knew had been sold by the British and were for pumping up balloons. Surveillance balloons. Hot air balloons. Or not air, hydrogen balloons. They knew all that. They knew it. They lied. They lied. And now Iran is sitting over there and is not developing a nuclear weapon. And if they did, we're going to start nuclear war. Our government, through AQ Khan Laboratories, helped transfer nukes to Pakistan. Why? To shake up the world. Why did our criminal government help arm China? Help give them the nuke in the beginning and help give them the MIRV technology over the years. Why? Why do the controllers of the planet do this? Because they had a secret alliance against Russia the whole time. The globalists made a deal with the Chinese when they put Mao Zedong in power. And then if he didn't follow orders, they kept the Russians right there, which the big mega banks, the Rothschilds and others were in control of. Oh, yeah, the Rothschilds are right up there at the head of it. The fact is they're evil, corrupt family engaged in carbon taxes, New World Order, everything else. But I'm not going to attack them because they happen to be Jewish, by the way. I'm going to attack them for their deeds. Just like when I attack Kim Jong-Il, it's not because he's a Korean. It's because he's an evil person. I want to make it about the character of deeds, so then we can all stand against corruption, regardless of what color somebody's skin is. But getting back to Clinton, as I went off into a rant about it, it was all over CNN, all over the Washington Post. You'll remember at the time, if you were a news junkie like I was, it was every week. Are criticisms of China and trade deals racist? Is it really about hating Asians? Are Republicans that don't want to have new trade deals with China, which disadvantages, are they racist? Is all this criticism of Clinton and missile secrets, ICBM secrets, really because they're Asian? Is it racism against Chinese people? This is how they sell it. You see, to make it that, oh, well, I'm certainly not going to, hey, why are you giving the Panama Canal to China? We built that. It's part of globalist strategic takeover. Not for the Chinese people, but for the corrupt elites over there who our elites absolutely love and made a deal with. Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalists were kicked out. That was always a theory. It had actually been in newspapers in the 50s, 49, 50, 51, and there had been congressional hearings. It always turns into a rumor because folks didn't go to the source documents. Now it's come back out in the news. Even the History Channel admits it. I saw some former CIA section chief, 1947 to 51, from China, on History Channel, almost fell out of my chair about 6, 7 years ago. And he was up there. It looked like he was on death's doorstep, but he was talking. He was like, actually, we were there and didn't like Chiang Kai-shek. So we gave him weapons that didn't work. We had a secret program the public wouldn't support because he was communist to put Mao Zedong into power, and we backed him all along. And then it I mean, it's on History Channel. Mao Zedong, he killed 60+ million, our government says. The Chinese government, in their estimates, go look this up, says 80+ million. 60 on the low, 80 on the high. 60 million plus dead people. And I'm not supposed to talk about that. I'm not supposed to say, hey, is it moral? And it's everywhere. Some products you can't get if they're not made in China. Is it moral to do this with children working their fingers till they bleed in those factories? You know, make these companies pay a little more, whatever. They'd still be able to destroy the European and U.S. markets. See, the globalists made a deal. They go, oh, you've got 800 million. Now it's a billion plus 200 million or so. You've got 800 million people that'll work to death for us. We'll be able to have selective deals with you and shut down all our competition. And that's what happened. And now they're like, how dare you be racist against the Chinese if you don't like suicide nets around their factories and want them to be able to go to the bathroom every 8 hours. You people are racist against Asians because you don't like the slave factories in China and children in firework factories. Yeah.
We're on the march.
We are back live, and I want to kind of hurry through your phone calls now because I do need to get to the Ron Paul news. He is the leader, not just in Iowa, but the numbers are coming in other states, and the attack is on. Later in the next hour, I'll get into how they're going to attack him, but I want to hit this news first, then get into really dangerous UN takeover of our country through the EPA. Fox News is reporting on this, and I've read over the treaty. This is exactly what it does. But the EPA says they're implementing it even if we don't, because they're the bureaucracy. And Obama's launching wars without Congress. I mean, the executive and the bureaucracy is completely out of control. So that is coming up. And they say they're pondering it. Folks, if they say pondering, that means it's already going into place. They're already shutting down buildings being built in Austin and calling it sustainable because they're not the little inside mafia. Oh, if your tree's bigger than 10 inches around, you can't build a 20-story skyscraper that really would be sustainable. Compact living, as if we don't have any room, but even in their paradigm. But if you're an insider, you get the waiver. Let's go to Ezekiel in Kentucky. Ezekiel, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex. Look, I made the mistake, 10 years ago. I was even awake then, and when I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and when it was even initiated into the Masonic Order, I had a fantasy or kind of a notion that I would go inside the machine and I'm going to change it from the inside out. I'll be the loose cog inside the engine. And I just want this to be a warning to other people out there that, I found out that although that's not impossible, it's not usually what happens. What usually happens is like what happened to me is the machine will shred you to bits and spit you out into the trash if you think you can change it from the inside if they find out. And that's what happened to me. And but concerning the esoteric industrial complex, it's Nick Masons. It's the best brotherhood and illumination that money can buy, Alex. The Masons are the bottom of the barrel, but they offer gateways to the top. And I'm not here to demonize Freemasons because there's corruption and evil in every institution. And most of the lodges are genuine, well-meaning people who do a lot of help and charity in their community. But inside, there's a dark force behind the secret passages, behind the mirrors. Down here in Kentucky, there are some lodges that are completely racist and openly bar blacks from joining ever. And that's what really got me to stop going. And then, there's other lodges that there's only police are members of, and they've been known to manufacture meth. And what happened to me, it ended up getting in trouble. Was a victim of, it sounds crazy, but I was a victim of psychological warfare and psychic attack, if you will. And I ended up going to jail. I was in prison for a year, and you find inside that, when you're inside that angle, there's so much more you see that people will never know, and it's just unbelievable. But there's a multitude of people who join these groups, people who are like me, who simply wanted to search for the truth and knowledge, and there's loners looking for friendship. But the worst kind, and these are the ones who make it to the top the fastest. These are those who want to join when it's all about money or power to them.
No, you're right. Ezekiel, God bless you. It was good to hear from you. Look, what he said is the truth from my research. Prisons are America's real colleges. It's where you learn how to work in the system, how to deal drugs inside the system, and it's how you go to jail for some petty thing and you get out and can't get a regular job, but you've been taught 10 or 15 other scams. And then you finally get caught a few years later, a decade down the road. Now you're a hardened criminal. You go back in, and the cycle goes on over and over again. And now such a large part of the population is criminal. It's proven the more jails you get, the more criminals you have. They're giant colleges for it. It's like, there's too many piranhas in this lake. Let's throw a side of beef in every day to, create twice as many. And the system knows this. And so now all over the country, states and counties are creating laws where felons can be hired. And you go into a city council or you go into a county commissioner court, and there's just felons everywhere. And they're there